everyone, I'm Amy Lee Miller. Kids often don't understand their emotions, what they are, how to label how they're feeling, and certainly they don't understand what to do about emotions, that they're feeling. So when I was a little girl, I remember feeling sad, lonely, much of the time, unhappy, but I didn't even know that these were the words to describe how it was that I was feeling. I just knew, that I didn't feel good. And so as a kid, if I didn't understand my emotions, you can bet, of course, I did not know how to deal with them. And as a kid, I was popular. I had friends. I was pretty. I always had a little boyfriend. My mom made sure I had new clothes the first day of school each year. And I loved school. I excelled in school, and I felt accepted there. I could be my silly self there, and I was actually the class clown for many years until my mom made me shut that down. I know she thought she was doing the right thing at the time, but anyway, that's another story. So the issue when I was growing up was that we had a problem in our house, and the problem was no one wanted to look at the issues. I highly recommend I highly recommend watching Jordan Peterson's video on the dragon story. You can find it on YouTube. Just type in Jordan Peterson dragon story. It's so cute. He tells a children's story. He reads a children's story, and it's about a dragon in the house, and the only one that can see the dragon in the house is the little boy. And he keeps trying to insist to his mother, there's a dragon. And she keeps telling him, no, dragons are not real. So what happens is the dragon grows bigger and bigger and bigger because no one will look at it until finally it fills the entire house and it takes off running down the street carrying the house with it. I love this story. I think it's so good. And then the little boy insists, no, the dragons are real. There is a dragon in the house. And then the mom acknowledges the dragon, and guess what happens? It shrinks down to a cute little pet-sized dragon that is much easier to deal with. And the story is obviously about our problems. What happens when we don't pay attention to our problems, when we don't acknowledge them, is they grow bigger and bigger and bigger until they seem unmanageable. And then we just want to cover it up. We don't even want to look at it. So this was the issue in my house. Nobody wanted to deal with the issues. And even as a little girl, that really did not sit right with me. I wanted to stand up and speak up for what I felt was right. If somebody was being wronged, either myself or someone else, I wanted to talk about it, to stand up and say, hey, this is not right. And I'm still that way. I'm deeply, deeply pained if I'm being mistreated or if somebody else is being mistreated. It just really affects me on a deep level. And it does cause me some challenges even in my life, now. So as a child, I remember I loved television sitcoms. And the reason why is because in each episode, there would be a problem. Family members might disagree, but everybody would talk about it. They would hear each other out. They could speak their voice, their truth. And in the end, they worked it out. They resolved the issue, and everyone felt accepted because they did accept each other. And I just longed for this growing up. I wanted to be like one of those sitcom families. So growing up, the emotion that I carried around that I didn't know how to make sense of or even what it was the feeling of unacceptance. So as a child, if I didn't understand exactly what this emotion was, unacceptance, and where it was coming from, you can bet I did not understand how to deal with it. So I did what we do as kids. I developed a coping mechanism or coping strategies. So, okay, if I'm not being accepted, then I will try to be someone other than myself. And when that didn't work, because it didn't, well, then I would beg for my family members to talk to me when they were mad at me instead of ignoring me. And when that didn't work, because it didn't, well, then I would apologize for myself profusely, even when I knew that I hadn't done anything wrong. So what happens is, with these untrue beliefs that we form about ourselves due to these experiences that we have as children, and we develop these coping mechanisms, and then if we don't heal that underlying issue, these manifest as patterns in our lives, at present day events that trigger that past emotion. So if you ever notice the same types of challenges keep showing up in your life, it's because of something way back that we need to go back and heal. So anyhow, I carried this pattern with me into adulthood, the pattern of maybe trying to be someone other than myself, like not speaking up, if I felt like I wasn't being accepted, and begging for acceptance, and apologizing for myself. I carried this pattern with me into adulthood. And while outwardly I had a good job and a strong work ethic, and I had friends and boyfriends and whatever, inside I was very depressed. I was carrying this unhappy feeling with me. And so then, law of attraction, I attracted to me people that were feeling the same way I was on the inside. And you can bet that made for a very painful life for many, many years, until I got sick and tired of feeling that way. And I decided to look at the issue, to address what it was, first uncover and then address what was really going on inside myself and then inside my family unit. So then I brought it up to my family and I said, hey, these are the things that happened. This is still happening and this is how I'm feeling. And they chose to continue ignoring it. So in order for me to care for and accept myself, I had to remove myself from that situation, to no longer put myself in that situation. Sometimes accepting ourselves means walking away from those who are not accepting us, while still having compassion, for them. So once I finally addressed the issue, then I was able to work toward healing and self-acceptance, and to a point where now I have a feeling of peace and happiness generally every day. Even if something is wrong, it's still okay, and it doesn't affect my self-worth. And I still have things that I'm working toward and that I want, and I will still have ups and downs, days that are better than others, and moments where, I might struggle a little bit. But I'm happy that that cloud of depression that I carried with me for decades finally went away once I gained self-acceptance. So once I found within myself what it was that I was searching for from my family, I was able to heal that. So it took me a very long time to get here. I'm maybe older than I look, I don't know. But I feel like my experiences can now help me to help others get there faster, because it doesn't have to be as long or as painful of a journey as it was for me. So if you feel like I might be able to help you, here is how to get in touch with me for Get Tough Life Coaching for children, teens, and adults. I'm Amy Lee Miller, and I